before music, it's a lot of territories, just being a part of the gang culture and knowing how it reacts and being in the center, the heart of it. There's a lot of territories that, I couldn't go to. Just off the simple fact, it was bad blood between my neighborhood and the neighborhood around the corner. And those neighborhoods was off limits, way off limits. And just recently, I just found out that the same cats that I enemied or that enemied me somewhat has given me a higher respect further than gang banging, just off the simple fact I'm doing something that not only inspires them, but inspires their kids, which privileged me to go where I want to go in Compton. People don't like to look themselves in the mirror. That's the hardest thing to do. It's to critique yourself rather than pointing the finger. Everybody hates change. So to actually do that and say, I'm wrong in a lot of areas, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm saying I'm wrong in a lot of areas, that takes a lot of willpower. It starts with self first. These words are powerful. I got homeboys that's dead, that's in prison, and sometimes you get a lot of artists that just glorify that. So these kids look at it, they think it's nothing but cool until they put in a real situation where they back against the wall and it's all over. For me, that's what separates me as an artist. I'm gonna give you the gift and I'm gonna give you the curse. Yeah, for me, I'm responsible for myself to know what I'm talking about. That's where my responsibility comes, to know 100% what I'm talking about, because I'm a witness. It's your choice to listen to it, but it's my responsibility to know exactly what I'm talking about, and to always give you both sides of the fence. I can't just write. I can't come up with an album if it's not from self-experience. You can't break down something that's so solid if the core is solid, the foundation is there. It's just something that gotta be reversed. Definitely a curse that has to be reversed. That reverse may come tomorrow. Fortunately, when you talk about change, you talk about time. And time can be forever. When you're dealing with something such as murder, violence, and most importantly, hate.
I was surprised to hear some of the things that you were saying right here when you talk about depression and reveal suicidal thoughts. And I'm like, is this real? Is there poetic license? Like, where did that come from? What prompted that?
I think I've pulled that song not only from previous experiences, but I think my whole life. I think everything is drawn out of that, even situations from Good Kid, Mad City. It wasn't that vulnerable. Nothing was as vulnerable as that record. So it's even pulling from those experiences of coming up in Compton. It's pulling with the experience of going through change and accepting change. That's the hardest thing for man, accepting change. And when I was on that tour bus and things is happening back home in my city or in my family that I can't do nothing about, it's out of my control, I don't put it in God's. I couldn't understand that. And that can draw a thin line, between you having your sanity and you losing it. And this is how artists deteriorate if you don't catch yourself.
And I have to remember these things. I have to write them down, and then 5 or 3 months later, I have to find that same emotion that I felt when I was inspired by it. So I had to dig all the way deep and see what were the things that triggered the idea of.
Does it always come back?
It comes back. It comes back. It comes because I have key little words that make me realize the exact motion and what drew the inspiration. This is the challenge for me. Being able to talk about anything and make it connect to a listener, where the listener can either feel like you or feel like they understand you, or you have just a deeper connection through the music with the listener. Talking to a little kid, making that represent something, feel like something, or saying the most brutal, harsh things on record where society may not want to hear it, but still having that connection. And you can look at a person, you can have a conversation with them. If whether it's the music or who they identify themselves with, if it comes from an organic place, a real place. And we call the consumers, we've been told to call the consumers dumb, but they're not. They know when it's real.
Absolutely. And
they know if they can feel it, These ideas that they was putting down made me believe, in everything that they were saying, because it just came from a space of whether a realistic point or just their imagination being so strong you know, it's so heavy, you know, that you just get bombarded in it.
These are the cats that inspire me like the most in doing music for sure. And if you know, break down how I approach lyrics, you can hear the influence each and every one of these dudes. Give me Jay. I gotta write it so it can look right. This in any order too. Pac, give me Big, yeah, give me Snoop. These all, yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's tough, but you know, yeah.
But that's what it is.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Kendrick Lamar.